ladies and
Careful, Icarus.
Oh, I try it. I have a question for you. Why does Russia want to start a race war in Sweden?
To get to the finish line.
Okay, so, yes. Sweden, of all places, has become this target country for migrants, and although there's been a overwhelming, uh, let's say, public outward appearance of welcome, just like there was in Germany, just like in Germany, a large protest movement has started, and they finally seem to have had enough, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these rapes and assaults that have been going on have been happening in Sweden. They've been having, there's been advertisements of Swedish women, like, go to Sweden, get free whores, basically. Because you could just rape a Swedish woman and not feel bad about it because of the way they dress, is basically what these little pamphlets say out there in the Middle East, which is why they're just going in droves. Germany, Sweden, and apparently on into Great Britain too. 200 passed through the tunnel the other night, all at once. They just kind of shut down traffic and careened right through.
I kind of regret this, I'm telling you.
I don't see how it's an extremist view in Europe to want to limit migration flows. And they even, on this fairly fairly mainstream news network, I forget which it was, they showed an interview, I think it was BBC or something like that, where they referred to this guy as an extremist, and then had him talking about how this seems like an invasion. It practically is an invasion.
You got 2,000 people crossing your border. That's an invasion.
And it's not a matter of just like the sheer numbers of people. It's a matter of it's only smart to raise the question if in fact, and the fact is that on the propaganda side of it, on the Islamic extremist side of it, they say this is an invasion. They say this is their plan. They announced this plan. This plan is well known. And it's only just acting as an intelligent person to consider this as a possibility when these thousands and thousands of people are showing up on your border every day. And if you don't let them in, they start throwing rocks. uh, I mean, I've always been a very pro-immigration person in this country, but this is America. You know, this isn't Europe. You know, I don't think any country of an indigenous culture should have to deal with an overwhelming influx of non-assimilative outsiders. I mean, that's everybody's got their own place, you know. And if you need someplace to go to a refugee type country that America is. We got plenty of room here, you know. That's all I'm saying. We could have absorbed all these people that are giving Europe a hard time, like nothing, like nothing. Between us and Canada. And yeah, I think Canada can handle it. Anyways. Well, I mean, technically, like, you know, I think something's wrong with people covering the face, but, you know, just like a regular scarf around your head, that's just keeping warm, you know what I'm saying?
Makes sense to me.
I'm being a jackass for no reason.
Yay, jackass for no reason.
Woohoo! So, speaking of jackasses for no reason, there have been 45 45 school shootings in the past year. 45. I'm going to do some interesting numbers this evening. See, another interesting number is the number 81. 81 is the number of people that were just arrested in Spain for what Spanish police described as extremely harsh content in a juvenile porn ring. Basically, a child porn ring, 85 people. 85 people in one small country like Spain. Like, how widespread is this problem? Jesus Christ.
It's horrible. You see in local news how many people get arrested damn near on a daily basis for child pornography. It's fucking sick, is what it is.
We pray a lot about this, and we have been for just about as long as we've been seeing these big busts and results going on. We started keeping track of these different agencies on Facebook, and if anybody, what the Center for Missing and Exploited Children,
National Center for Missing and Exploited Children,
they need people sharing these posts every time a child comes up missing. The more social networking, the more social attention each one of these posts gets, the more likely these children are to come home safe. Okay, so please go to National Center for Missing and Exploited Children on Facebook and share often, share everything.
especially stuff in your area.
Yeah, definitely keep track of it for stuff in your area. Anyways, speaking of the enslavement empire, a couple of weeks ago, I reported that there might be little green men in Afghanistan. And obviously, in the news lately, there's been a few mentions of Islamic State in Afghanistan. Well, on CCTV, they've reported that the Russian deputy defense minister says they may need to be getting involved in Afghanistan, which usually means they're already involved somewhere. You know, when they say we're about to be involved somewhere, it usually means they're already involved somewhere to defeat ISIL. So, Russia has, I don't know. I don't know what they've done in Afghanistan. Just played one side against each other over and over again all these years. Literally, all the weapons until we got there came from Russia. We had one side fighting another side with mostly Russian weapons and a few of our anti-aircraft weapons. And then we moved in there in full force after 2001. And now Taliban has a mixture of Russian tanks and a couple of Humvees here and there. And as I showed, they're being assisted by some uniformed soldiers. I'm sure they're just saying they're local. That's what they did in Crimea. They just stood on the street for us. Hey, I'm local.
I live here.
Where are you from? I'm local. That's where I'm from. I'm from a town called Local.
I'm here.
Yes, I'm here. And later, some of these same guys admitted to being from. I mean, not even like near Grozny and stuff, like close by in Russia. They were from on the other side of Russia. What's the place on the on our west coast, facing our west coast, on their east coast, that little peninsula area? There was a guy from there who was at one point local, Crimea. All right, so lots and lots of by the numbers things regarding Russia. Russia launched at this point over 400 airstrikes in Syria, mostly around the rebel held side of the city of Aleppo, where 2 months ago, U.S. and Turkish backed rebel forces, whatever the hell you want to call them, Russia wants to call them terrorists, but they were, the majority that rose up against Assad. And in this area, they had 2 months ago just defeated Islamic State. I've been looking into this for quite for about 5 nights straight, trying to figure out what the hell's been going on over there. And you got to see a lot of different sides of fucking bullshit to get to the truth. And basically, between 2 and 5 months ago, a big battle broke out between people we were supporting and Islamic State, who had defeated Al Qaeda to gain control of that area previously. So, Russia has now defeated the Free Syrian Army, who defeated ISIL, who defeated Al Qaeda, and basically now Aleppo's in fucking ruins, is how that goes. um, yeah. We had two Turkish roadside bombs. All right. No, what? Sorry. One Turkish roadside bomb has killed two soldiers. Um, towards the is it the PYK or the PKK? The PKK contested areas in Turkey over there. PKK. PYK is the good guy, good Kurds, the non-terrorist Kurds. Um, I haven't confirmed which is which yet, but it's been a long time that certain Kurdish parties were basically communist and like actually called themselves communist and supported by Russia. So I'm guessing that those are the terrorist ones. I haven't confirmed that yet though. Anyway, the Iranian nuclear reactor deal thing is today.
Mm.
That's the technical term. Yeah. No, today is implementation day for the Iran nuclear deal, and Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has actually issued an order to dismantle all but 6,000 centrifuges or whatever this big required thing that he's supposed to do. The dismantling of the centrifuges with the pudding pops within 2 months, quote. And the Grand Ayatollah has actually approved this deal and made a big grand statement about how we better live up to our end of the bargain, removing sanctions. So, he's made his statement saving face and trying to look tough in the face of Western imperialism, blah, blah, blah. But, like I've said before, you got to understand these people are getting constantly fed communist propaganda. So even if a politician there wants to act with the slightest bit of common sense, they have to tread thin ice, as it were. Um, you got anything to say about any of these things, dude?
I'm just letting you roll through it, baby.
All right.
You're doing good.
All right. Oh, you want to talk about football?
Ooh, football.
The score was 35-28.
LSU beat Florida State yesterday on a fake punt, faked.
It's easy for you to say.
Shut up. Faked field goal. That's it. Yes, they faked a field goal. We were tied. Score 28-28.
Yeah.
Yes, we were tied 28-28, and we faked a field goal and ran it in for a touchdown. Yeah, good Tigers.
And then they had three guys damn near sacked this kid, you know.
Tiny little kicker, dude.
He's gonna remember that for the rest of his life, because that's not something that a kicker gets to do very often. And you want to talk about just a wall of fuckers trying to get his ass, and he just barely made it out away from him.
Not to mention how much he was fumbling with the ball trying to catch it.
Anytime that guy wants to, get a free beer, all he has to do is tell that freaking story from now on. Anywhere in Baton Rouge, people are going to be remembering that shit.
Right. They were making us worry at the beginning of that game, man. Ooh-wee.
That's my love-hate relationship with football. On the one hand, it's a gigantic missed opportunity to teach general responsibility to people. But on the other hand, you get cool stories like that, you know?
Not to mention the Saints beat the Falcons. Oh yeah, so by the way, LSU is now the only undefeated team in the SEC right now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Isn't that fancy?
It is, just like the Saints. The Saints beat the Falcons, and the Falcons were undefeated, and the Saints ain't won a game yet this year until that game. Mm-hmm. Who beat
Did
the Falcons
Alanis Morissette play Isn't That Ironic at halftime?
Nah.
So the what? Who?
The Falcons were undefeated, not no more. Who dat?
I always found the whole team partisanship just to be just, I don't know, kind of a big disappointment. Like, if you understand that you're just being silly, that's cool. The problem is people actually get violent in support of a fucking sports team. How
I want to know.
by doing so, you basically acknowledge that you are among the absolute dumbest fuckers in the world. Like you might as well just wave a fucking flag around. I'm a dummy, you know. Sorry,
I'd like to know how it is people actually make money off of fantasy football. That I just don't understand.
There was a news story about insider fucking trading
Fantasy football.
in fantasy football.
We're not talking about the stock market here.
What?
Fantasy football.
What?
I just don't even know what to say about that. There are just no words.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. What?
oh. So, what else has happened this week, dear?
I don't know.
Think of anything?
It's been a very busy week for me this week. Nothing happened at BRCC. We had like a threat.
Tell them about that. That's a good one.
So I work behind Baton Rouge Community College in Baton Rouge, and apparently somebody found a note that said, "I wouldn't come to school on October 15th if I were you." Nothing happened on October 15th.
I think it was going to be another fucking
school shooting or something.
45 this year. Jesus.
Thankfully, nothing happened.
Did they have any police out there or anything? Like extra police patrolling around?
Not necessarily extra police, but in place of Baton Rouge Community College police, they did have like Baton Rouge City Police. Okay. But it wasn't any more than normal. At least not at lunchtime when Sally and I went to lunch.
Well, a threat like that, they might have had plainclothes FBI.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Flooding the area.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The best way.
No, it was calm. It's actually kind of quiet. I think a lot of students actually did stay home. It was like less cars than normal in the area. But I mean, these days you don't want to take any chances. I don't blame them. I probably would have stayed home too if I was a student.
Yeah,
Shit, I almost stayed home from work and weren't having a virus the week before. I probably was called in that day.
and the whole school shooting thing makes me think of Israel a lot because people like to think of Israel when they consider solutions to our problem. Israel is a very peculiar situation. I mean, the Bible even says Israel is a peculiar people. Okay, and now that they are reconstituted, it's perfectly logical to assume so because of their very peculiar situation. They are literally surrounded by people who, a lot of them, you know, but not all Arabs, not all Muslims, but more than their population surrounding them does not want them there. Okay, that's a fact that they have to live with. That's not a fact that we have to live with. Okay, and people talking about anybody who has a the ability to carry a gun should be carrying a gun in schools. It's a it's not the best solution. I mean, the best solution would be having a whole lot of very well trained law enforcement. That's the best solution.
You have to fund your law enforcement department, though.
Yeah, and you have to be properly trained. You know, not just physically trained, but mentally trained as well. But anybody who thinks the situation is going to be safer if everybody has a gun needs to go spend a little bit of time in a war zone. Everybody's got a gun out there, and let me just tell you, war zones are not renowned for their safety.
Not really. Hence all the migrants and people running away.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. That's all we got. Um, Thanks for tuning in. Join us next week. Probably not the same bat time, but more than likely going to be the same channel because I only have one channel. Not one of these multiple channel people who want to just like spread like a virus all over the YouTubes.
Yeah, go Icarus.
Careful.
I bid you adieu.
I did. Icarus,
Yes, father.
don't get too close to the sun with your wax wings.
But I want to fly close to the sun, father.
But if you get too close to the sun with your wax wings, they'll melt. You will die. Horrible death involving gravity. I did.
Adieu.